Okay, so have you ever, like, totally choked under pressure? Like you're about to give a speech and suddenly your mind goes blank.
Oh, yeah.
Well, imagine that, but in Turkish.
Oh, wow.
That's what we're diving into today. The 15th annual Turkish language speech contest, level 1 to be exact.
Okay.
We've got their guidebook, and let me tell you, this thing is intense. It's not just about like reciting lines or whatever.
Right.
It's about using the language, thinking on your feet. It's a whole other level.
Yeah, it really is. What's so cool about this contest is how they go beyond just, memorizing lines. It's about real communication
Yeah,
and getting creative with the language.
exactly. And showing, that you actually understand Turkish culture.
Oh, absolutely.
So we're going to break down each round of the competition. We've got interview, fast memory, monologues, and picture storytelling.
Ah, yeah, it's like a full-on Turkish language obstacle course.
It is. So think of this as your coaching guide. We're going to give you all the insider tips and tricks to, help your student totally dominate.
Yeah, if you've got a student who's thinking about competing, this is like the ultimate cheat sheet.
So first things first, let's talk about what they're really trying to achieve with this contest.
Right.
What's the big picture here?
Well, the vision statement really emphasizes fluency, right? Like they want to see real, genuine communication, not just textbook stuff.
Right, exactly. It's about using Turkish in a way that's like meaningful, not just rattling off grammar rules.
It's about expressing yourself,
Yeah.
sharing your thoughts and ideas,
Huh.
and doing it all, in Turkish.
Yeah, and that's where the mission comes in. It's about giving students a platform to, showcase those skills, to use Turkish in a real-world setting.
Yeah, to like step out of the classroom and really show what they can do.
Right. Now, this contest is for middle and high schoolers, grades 6 through 12.
Oh,
But it's not for beginners. They're specifically targeting students in their first or second year of learning Turkish.
and believe me, the material is designed to challenge even the most advanced students in that category.
Oh, yeah, this is serious business. I mean, the selection process alone is pretty intense.
Definitely.
First, you've got the school level, then it goes to a cluster level, and finally, the central office picks the finalists.
Based on speaking tests and interviews.
Right. They really put these kids through the ringer. Talk about pressure.
It's true, but I think that pressure is also what makes it so exciting. It really pushes those students to step up their game.
Right. So let's dive into the first round, the interview. This one's all about thinking on your feet and being able to, hold a conversation in Turkish.
Oh, okay.
Students get a series of questions and they have to, here's the catch, they have to answer in full sentences.
No pressure.
None at all.
I think it's a great way to assess their, speaking skills, right? Because you can't just rely on memorized answers. You really have to think on the spot.
Right. And it tests their grammar and their vocabulary and their cultural knowledge.
Absolutely. They might get hit with a question like, what do Turkish people really like to drink? Or what's a popular holiday in Turkey? So, it's not just about knowing the words for tea or coffee. It's about understanding those cultural nuances.
Right. And that's what makes this contest so unique. It's not just about rote memorization.
No, not at all.
It's about, applying those language skills to real world situations to show that you can actually use Turkish to communicate.
It's about demonstrating a deeper understanding of the culture,
Uh,
which I think is so important.
totally. Oh, and did I mention the tongue twisters?
Oh, yeah, the tongue twisters.
I mean, just to add to the fun, right?
Yeah, just a little extra pressure.
So the last question in the interview round is always a tongue twister.
Okay.
They get to choose one to learn beforehand, and then they have to, deliver it flawlessly, which, let me tell you, can be a real challenge.
I bet. Especially with some of those Turkish sounds.
Right. It's a great way to test their pronunciation
Mhm.
and their, ability to handle those tricky sounds.
Okay, so they've survived the interview round. What's next?
Next up is fast memory, vocabulary time.
Oh,
Anyone who's, ever learned a language knows that vocabulary is key.
it's the foundation, right?
But this round really puts it to the test. They're shown a bunch of everyday objects or flashcards,
Okay.
and they have 30 seconds to name as many as they can in Turkish.
Oh, wow. That's fast.
It is. And we're not talking about, your basic textbook words either.
Right. It's got to be more than just apple and book.
We're talking saydanluk, which is a traditional Turkish tea kettle,
Ooh.
or like Nazare Bonkuzu, the evil eye amulet.
Oh, that good one. I love those evil eye amulets. They're everywhere in Turkey.
They are hanging in homes, businesses.
Even on baby carriages.
Yeah.
It's like a little good luck charm.
Exactly. And that's another example of how this contest, weaves in that cultural element. It's not just about knowing the words, it's about understanding their context.
Right. It's about knowing when and how to use them.
All right, so we've got our students thinking on their feet in the interview round, and we've got them flexing their vocab muscles in the fast memory round. But now it's time to, step onto the big stage, literally for the monologue round.
Okay, this is where it gets real. The performance round.
Exactly. And they have to prepare 2 monologues. One is about myself.
Okay.
And the other is about Turkey.
All right, so they get to talk about themselves and about Turkey. I like that.
Yeah. So for the about myself speech, they get to write their own script.
Oh, okay. So they got to be a little creative with that one.
Right. They can talk about, their background, their family, their hobbies, their favorite foods.
Oh.
It's like a little introduction to who they are as a person.
I see.
And then for the about Turkey speech, they have to memorize and deliver a provided text that covers, key facts about Turkey geography, culture, history.
Okay, so that one's a bit more structured.
Right. It makes sure that all the students have, like, a foundational understanding of Turkish culture. It's not just about the language itself. It's about understanding the context.
I like that. It's like they're building a well-rounded picture of Turkey.
Exactly.
So for both of those monologues, they have a certain time limit.
Yeah, they have 2 minutes for each monologue, which, when you're up on stage, can feel like a really long time.
Or a really short time, depending on how much you have to say.
Right. It's a real test of their stage presence and their ability to engage an audience, to deliver those speeches with fluency and expression.
So it's not just about memorizing the words, it's about how you deliver them.
Exactly. And that's a skill that's valuable in any language.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, so they've given their monologues. Now comes the really fun part.
Oh, yeah. This is where it gets interesting. The grand finale.
The picture storytelling round. This one is all about creativity under pressure.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. The students get 8 different pictures, and they have to choose 2 to prepare stories for.
Okay.
But here's the twist. At the competition, the coordinator gets to decide which one they actually present.
Oh, wow.
Talk about nerve-wracking.
Seriously. You've got to be ready for anything.
And the pictures themselves, the topics are super interesting. They cover all sorts of themes and scenarios.
Right. And they're designed to really get the students using a variety of vocabulary and grammar.
Exactly. For example, you might have a picture of a group of friends making pizza together.
Okay, that's fun. So you need to know all the food words, like un for flour, the most sosu for tomato sauce.
Right. And verbs like kesmek for cutting, kakistemek to mix.
Right, and you'd have to describe the whole process of making pizza, using the right tenses, conjunctions, all that good stuff.
Exactly. It's a really fun way to test, those practical language skills.
And then you might have a picture of, like, someone taking care of a dog.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So that could be a story about responsibility or friendship or even, the importance of animal welfare.
I love it. You can tell so many different stories with just one image.
Exactly. And the guidebook really encourages the students to, use their imaginations, to get creative with their stories. They even suggest incorporating dialogue, sound effects, different character voices.
Wow, it's like a whole production.
It is. It's about bringing that language to life.
So picture this. You're up on stage, you've got your picture, and it's go time. You've got to weave a captivating story, all in Turkish, in just a few minutes.
Yeah, talk about pressure.
Yeah.
But it's also a fantastic opportunity, right?
Definitely. To really showcase your language skills and your creativity.
And your cultural understanding, too, right?
Yeah.
Because you could even weave in, like, traditional Turkish proverbs or sayings.
Oh, absolutely. Or even, mention famous Turkish landmarks or historical figures. There are so many possibilities.
It's like a crash course in Turkish culture.
It is. And that's what makes this contest so special. It's not just about, memorizing grammar rules or vocabulary lists.
It's about putting it all together.
Exactly. It's about using the language in a way that's creative, expressive, and engaging.
And meaningful, right.
Yeah.
It's about telling a story that connects with the audience on an emotional level.
Totally. So, okay, we've covered the 4 main rounds of this competition. We've got the interview round, which is all about, thinking on your feet.
Right.
We've got the fast memory round where you really have to know your vocab. We've got the monologue round, which is like the performance round. And then, of course, the picture storytelling round, which is all about creativity.
It's a real marathon.
It is. And each round is scored based on, specific criteria.
Right. So it's not just about how well you speak Turkish. It's about how you use it.
Exactly. And they're looking at a lot more than just, grammar.
Oh, for sure. They want to see fluency, vocabulary range,
Yeah.
the overall effectiveness of the speech.
Great. So they're not just looking for perfect grammar?
Nope. While it's important, for clear communication, the judges understand that mistakes happen.
Especially when you're under pressure.
Right. So they're more interested in seeing how well you can actually communicate your ideas, even if you make a few little grammar mistakes here and there.
That's a relief. It takes some of the pressure off.
Exactly. It encourages students to be more, spontaneous, to take risks with the language.
And it sends the message that fluency and communication are ultimately more important than, perfect grammar.
Exactly. It's about getting your message across.
All right, so let's break this scoring rubric down a bit more. What are they looking for in terms of, content and length?
Okay, so for content, they want speeches that are, logically organized, relevant to the topic, and of course, delivered within the time limit.
Right, you don't want to go off on a tangent.
Exactly. Stay focused.
Got it. And how about fluency?
Fluency is key. They want to see smooth, natural speech with, minimal pauses and hesitations. It's about maintaining a good rhythm.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's not about speaking as fast as possible.
No, not at all. It's about speaking clearly and confidently at a pace that allows the audience to follow along easily.
And I imagine vocabulary range plays a big role, too.
Absolutely. The judges are looking for students who are using a variety of vocabulary, not just sticking to those basic words.
Right.
Because using those less common, more nuanced words really shows a deeper understanding of the language.
So they're rewarding those students who are, pushing themselves to expand their vocabulary.
Exactly. And to use it in creative ways.
Okay, so we've talked about content, fluency, vocabulary. What about grammatical accuracy? I mean, I know you said it's not the be-all and end-all, but
Right.
it's still got to count for something, right?
Of course. Correct grammar is important for clear communication, but the judges recognize that some errors are, inevitable, especially for students who are still relatively new to the language.
So they're not expecting perfection.
Not at all. They're more interested in seeing how well the students can, express their ideas, even if they make a few grammatical slips here and there.
That's good to know. And what about pronunciation? Are they looking for native-like pronunciation?
Well, they are listening for clear and understandable pronunciation. But again, they're not expecting perfection.
It's more about being comprehensible.
Exactly. The goal is to sound natural and confident.
And I'm guessing they're also paying attention to those nonverbal cues, like eye contact and gestures.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, they have a whole category on their scoring rubric called effectiveness of speech, which includes things like, energy, passion, eye contact, facial expressions, gestures.
So it's not just about the words you're saying, it's about how you're saying them.
Exactly. It's about bringing that language to life.
I love that. It's like they're looking at the whole package.
They are. They want to see students who are engaged with their topic, who are connecting with the audience, and who are using their whole bodies to communicate.
I love how this contest recognizes that communication is so much more than just words on a page.
Right. It's about confidence. It's about expression. It's about that spark that really captivates an audience.
And that's what makes this competition so unique and so valuable. It's not just about testing language skills. It's about developing well-rounded communicators.
Who are confident in their abilities.
And passionate about the Turkish language and culture.
Exactly. Now, you mentioned earlier that the guidebook provides a sample about myself speech for the monologue round.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really curious about what kind of information they include in that sample speech. Like, what do they encourage the students to talk about?
You know what? That's a really good point. We haven't really dived into that yet.
It would be interesting to see what kind of insights that sample speech offers.
Yeah, like what values and qualities are important, in Turkish culture.
Exactly. Why don't we take a closer look at that sample speech and see what we can learn? Okay, so let's take a peek at this sample about myself speech.
All right, let's see what they've got.
It's interesting. They really emphasize personal details, like they encourage the students to talk about their family, their hobbies, even their physical appearance.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. Just like they want to get to know the person behind the language,
That's so cool. It's like, it's not just about how well you can speak Turkish. It's about, like, who you are as a person.
Exactly. And that makes me think of, the whole concept of misafirlik, which is Turkish hospitality.
Oh, yeah. That's a big deal in Turkish culture.
It is. It's all about welcoming guests and making them feel comfortable and valued.
Right. So maybe this emphasis on personal details in the speech is like a reflection of that.
I think so. It's like you're not just showing off your language skills, you're also sharing a part of yourself with the audience.
Yeah, you're making a connection. Okay, so let's pretend we're competing in this contest.
Okay.
If you had to give an about myself speech in Turkish, what would you talk about?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Let me think. I think I definitely talk about my love for, learning new languages.
Yeah.
Maybe share a funny anecdote about, like, a time I made a mistake while speaking Turkish.
Hmm.
Break the ice a little bit.
I love that. And I think I'd talk about like my passion for travel,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and exploring different cultures. And maybe I'd even tie it back to Turkey and mention some of the amazing historical sites I'd love to visit, like Ephesus or Cappadocia.
See, you're already thinking like a contestant. You're connecting your own experiences to the language and culture.
I know, right?
Ugh.
This contest is really making me think.
Me too. And speaking of thinking, those picture storytelling prompts. Can you imagine having to, like, create a whole story around a single image?
It'd be so challenging, but also like so much fun.
Right. You'd have to be able to, like, analyze the picture, figure out what's going on, and then weave a narrative that's both engaging and grammatically correct.
All under pressure. Okay, let's play a little game.
Okay, I'm game.
Imagine we're given that picture of, the group of friends making pizza. What kind of story could we tell?
Okay, let's see. Maybe it's a story about a group of friends who are getting together for the first time since, like, graduating high school.
Oh, I like that.
Right. They're all grown up now with different jobs and lives. But they're trying to, like, recapture that sense of camaraderie they had back in the day.
And making pizza together is like their way of reconnecting,
Exactly. They could be reminiscing about old times while they're chopping veggies, spreading the tomato sauce. Maybe there's even a little friendly competition over who makes the best pizza.
And of course, we'd have to, sprinkle in some Turkish cultural elements.
Of course. Like maybe they're using traditional Turkish ingredients or listening to Turkish music while they cook.
Oh, I love that. And maybe on the end of the story, they all raise their glasses of Aeron.
Ah, yes.
The yogurt trick.
And they toast to their enduring friendship. Maybe even using a Turkish proverb about, the importance of friends and family.
Perfect. See, we could go on and on with this story, and that's what makes this contest so amazing. It's not just about testing your knowledge, it's about sparking your imagination and encouraging you to, express yourself in a way that's uniquely you. So to wrap things up, if you're looking for a language learning experience that goes beyond the textbook, that challenges you to think creatively and to connect with a vibrant culture, then the Turkish language speech contest might be just what you need.
It's a chance to really immerse yourself in the language, to test your skills, and to make some incredible memories along the way.
And who knows, you might even discover a hidden talent for storytelling.
Or public speaking.
So until next time,